Hello, I'm Jane. I'm one of the many seed savers from Seedsavers Taranaki, and today I'm doing a webinar on basic seed saving. If you would like to save seed, there is a kind of an essential list that you need to start with, and that list is whether that your seed is definitely heirloom or open pollinated. The difference between those two words is heirloom. It comes with a history. Open pollinated is it's still you're able to save seed from it, but it may not come with a history. So if you buy those two types of seed, you will be able to save seed from them. If you buy seed that says hybrid on the packet, one on the packet, you will not be able to save seed. Hybrid means us humans have intervened and made a seed which will germinate and produce vegetables for 1 year, but you won't be able to save the seed from it. If you do, you can save the seed, but what will happen the following year, some characteristic of that vegetable will be lost. For example, if you saved broccoli seed, maybe you wouldn't get ahead of broccoli on the broccoli plant. So the next thing you want to do is list the vegetables you would like to grow for the season. And the next thing you need to do, which people get a bit scared about, you need to find the botanic name, because here the question comes in whether which vegetables cross-pollinate and which vegetables do not cross-pollinate. So we have vegetables that cross-pollinate and we have vegetables that self-pollinate. So for the vegetables that self-pollinate, that's fine. You can grow different varieties of them and they won't cross-pollinate. You can grow them all at the same time. For example, tomatoes self-pollinate, so you can grow like 50 varieties of tomatoes and they won't cross-pollinate. But sadly, for the majority of vegetables, they cross-pollinate. So you need to go online. And this time of year we're growing our brassicas. So say if you wanted to grow broccoli and cauliflower, they are from the same species or the same family. So they're from what is called the Oleracea species. So they're from the same, which means they're from the same grouping. So if you wanted to save, as say, broccoli or cauliflower, you would either grow one or the other, or you could put broccoli in now, so broccoli seed now, and then a month later sow the cauliflower. So when, as I'm going to talk about soon, so when the cauliflower, the flowers are coming up and being pollinated, the cauliflower is still actually growing, so there won't be any cross-pollination. The other thing to think about cross-pollination is about where you live. If you live in a rural area, wonderful, because you don't have any neighbours close by that cross-pollination can happen. If you live in an urban area, this may be a little bit more difficult because your neighbours may be growing vegetables. So if you're friends with your neighbours or you want to knock on their door, maybe you can swap some seed and one person grows one type of vegetable and you grow the other type. So today I'm going to use parsnip as an example. So with root vegetables, like with the carrot, the parsnip, beetroot, you can grow all of those and they're all from different families. So they're all from different families, so they won't cross-pollinate. But again, always look this up before you actually sow the seed. So here is parsnip seed that has been saved. So I hope you can see that parsnip seed. And then from the parsnip seed, we'll grow the parsnip. Now what will happen when you're growing your vegetables, you need to keep the best vegetables, one or two of them, in the ground for as long as possible. What will happen with root vegetables, as you probably are already aware, lots of greenery will grow out at the top and eventually a flower will appear. And the bees, flies and moths will come along and pollinate those flowers, and that pollination will create seeds. So what you need to do is keep that vegetable for as long as possible in the ground, and that green will start to turn in brown. So what is happening, all the energy from the vegetable is going up through the greenery as it's turning brown into the seed to make that seed viable. So as that seed is starting to turn brown and it's starting to look nice and crispy, you then need to look at observation. Observation on the weather, observation on those birds in your garden who will start looking at that seed and seeing it as food. So if the seed is starting to look nice and dry and there's rain forecast, I would recommend that you cut. You can either cut there at the base of the vegetable, or you can pull out the whole vegetable. And then you use a pillowcase and put the seed just to continue drying, probably for a few months, until, just to make sure it's completely dry, just for a few months. In great places, if you have a garage or a shed, just hang it up in your garage or your shed with your seed in. And it's nice to use cotton pillowcases because it lets airflow go through. And you can get lots of pillowcases in the shop. So as an example, here's the parsnip seed. I mean, as I pull the parsnip seed out of the pillowcase, the seed is already falling off the stem of the parsnip, so it's nice and dry. What you will then need is a sieve. Usually I have a bigger one than this, but it's got something else in it. And Seedsavers Taranaki do have a big sieve. So when we have our gatherings, we bring the big sieve so we can all clean seed together. So when you come to one of the gatherings, bring your seeds and we'll clean seed together. So seeds, once they're dry, are really tough. So you can just squeeze the seed really firmly, and as you can see, the seed is coming off of the stem really easily. So there we have our parsnip seed. Now the next thing to do with this parsnip seed, because it's been hung up in your garage, it may have attracted something called vine weevil or other little bugs that like to get into seed. So before you actually sow your seed, you want to get rid of these bugs. So get yourself a container that's freezer proof. Just empty your seed in there. Make sure that the lid is really secure on the container, because you don't want obviously any moisture getting into your seed, because it will kill the seed. It will make it go all mouldy. And you only need to leave the seed in there for approximately a week, and that will kill the vine weevil and any other bugs. And then your seed is either ready to sow, or you may like to store it for a while. So about storage, don't leave it in plastic containers because it will sweat. The best form of storage, one of the best forms of storage, is in jars like this, or small jars in a cool, dry place, or you can put in paper envelopes. But if you're going to do that, make sure they're in containers, like ice cream containers, so rats or mice don't eat your lovely seed that you've taken the time to save. So that's the basics of seed saving. This, as I said, this is about seed saving from plants that produce a flower at the top. The next webinar I'll be talking about saving seed from seeds that are inside the actual vegetable. Thanks for listening, and also after I've done the webinars, we'll be setting up a question and answers, so that will be coming soon too. Thanks very much, and happy seed saving.